Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and today I'm sharing this really fun card featuring Gerda Steiner Designs Strawberry Mouse. This is a smaller stamp set, but it works perfectly for what I have in mind for today. I've done this quite a bit before, but I don't really film it because it's just beer art. So there's a ton of cans that are out there in this world that have a ton of cool beer art. This one in particular has a ton of strawberries, and I thought it was perfect for the springtime card. What I'm doing is using UnDu Remover, which kind of removes glue and removes stickers, and it just momentarily removes the adhesive so you can peel it off without ripping your label. As you can see, I am struggling a little bit with the can, but I'm able to cleanly pull the label off. It also retains its stickiness once the UnDu Remover dries, so I'm able to transfer it to a piece of printer paper since it's pretty thin, and if I layer it on top of another card base or card panel, then it won't be too thick. And then I'll just trim it down to what I need it to be. So for this particular card, I'm trimming it down to, I believe it is 5 inches by 4¼ inches. For the beer art, you can see that there is strawberry jams right in the middle, which is fine. I can totally use it and incorporate it into my card and my sentiment, but here the strawberry mouse just fits perfectly right over it, that I thought I was just going to make him the centerpiece of my card. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp him out, and then I will also cut out a piece of masking paper from my roll of Eclipse masking paper and stamp that mouse out on that. So I can fussy cut it out, mask him, and then add a few more strawberries. In this smaller stamp set, it comes with the mouse with the big strawberry that he's holding, and then also a smaller strawberry. And I'm big on depth perception, so the smaller strawberries just work so well because I am able to stamp it behind him, mask it off, and then stamp out another one, and the sizing looks correct. Where the mouse is in front, so their strawberry is bigger, and then the strawberries that are kind of behind are further away, and so therefore the size is smaller. So once I finish stamping out these 3 images, I'll go ahead and remove my masking paper because I will not need it for any ink blending or anything like that, because I will be cutting this out and placing it right on my background. For the coloring, normally I usually go in with 3 Copic markers, but for the mouse itself, I actually go in with 4, and that's just because, I don't know, I just felt like it. And so I picked out 4 colors. They're all the warm grays, which I love using for critters. It's either warm grays or warm browns. The warm browns are in the E40 family, and then the warm grays are the W's. And for this mouse in particular, I'm using W6, W4, W2, and W0. So it works out really well. The same concept with all my coloring. I go in with my darkest color for all the shadow areas, anywhere that I believe there are shadows. So like behind his feet, under his neck, right above his eyes, right actually below his eyes, and right above his cheeks, because I want his cheeks to look full because it looks like he's eating that strawberry. And then I'll go in with my 2 milked colors just to blend it out, leaving a bit of white highlight, and then I'll go in with my lightest color to color up the rest. I'll also leave his ears white because I will be going in with R20. Usually I use R20 for the ears of a critter or for the blush of the cheeks for critters, and it's just a perfect color. It's super light, and then you can use your lightest shade to go over it just to blend everything in, and that mouse looks so adorable. For the rest of the coloring, it's just the strawberries. I'm going in with greens and reds. After I finished coloring and I looked at my beer art background, I realized that my reds don't match, which I'm not going to go back and restamp this, recolor it. I'm just going to keep it as is. And it also kind of allows the strawberries to kind of pop because they are different colors than the one that is on the background. The background, I will say, is a bit busy, and normally I don't love busy backgrounds, but I thought that this was so fun that I just had to use it, and that's what I did. I think that it looks just fine with the different colors of reds, just so it stands out a little bit more. Of course, with the reds are tricky to blend out with, but I use my same combination. I use R39, R46, and R27. It kind of goes from a dark red to almost an orangey red, but it's so subtle, and I think it's so pretty. This is just me coloring the strawberries strawberries, and I think that this card just turns out so cute. I actually had this stamp in my stash for a while and I just never used it, and then it became winter and it just wasn't the right time to use it. So I'm so glad that I was able to pull this out now. Once I finish coloring it, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I don't have the coordinating dies, and I'm actually not sure if there are coordinating dies for this, but if there is, I will have a link down below. I think that this set is currently sold out at Gerda Steiner, but I'll see if I can find another store that carries it. Gerda has like a ton of stamps that are super cute with different critters. She hand draws them herself and they're adorable, and they go in and out of stock. I'm sure it'll be back. Once I cut this out, you'll notice that it has a white outline around, or a white border around it, and normally I am definitely the one that fussy cuts right on the line, mainly because I don't love that white outline. Like same with die cuts, I just don't love it, so I don't use them super often, even though it makes my life easier, but I just don't love the look of it. I thought that because of the black outline on the strawberries of the beer art, that having a black border for the image itself would really make it pop. And I'm really happy that I did that, because I do believe it does that on the final card, as you'll see. For the sentiment, I'm stamping out my sentiment twice on black paper using Versamark ink and gold embossing powder, mainly because I'm going to cut this sentiment in half, and if I were to stamp only one, I won't be able to get an even line or border of the black on the ends of each of my sentiments. So I'm cutting it out twice, then I'm cutting out have a berry first, and then my next sentiment I'm going to use the sweet day. If you look closely, you'll understand, because there's only limited spacing between berry and sweet. So if I'm cutting up against sweet, it'll look weird if I'm using that half of the sentiment. And of course, you don't have to. You could just use the sentiment once, but since I already have all the supplies out, I was going to stamp it twice. All that's left to do is to put this card together. I am matting my beer art background on black cardstock, and I'm using double-sided adhesive. I always use double-sided adhesive for my glue because I just find it easier and cleaner, and I'm also using my Misty just to make sure that everything is lined up right against that black cardstock and evenly at 1/4 of an inch on the top and the bottom, because this beer panel ended up being 5 inches by 4 1/4. Normally an A2 card is 5.5 by 4 1/4. I left that space for the matting, and plus it kind of ties in the black outline around the mouse and image, and then also it matches the sentiment. You'll see that I'm just lining up my sentiment. I think it looks so pretty, and I used gold embossing powder because it kind of matches the yellow specks in the strawberries. I just think this card came out so cute with the mouse sitting right on top of the sweet day, and then we have the first part of the sentiment right on the left hand side, which fits perfectly near that strawberry nook. That is my card for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. Bye!